Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you this evening with a special examination. I'm joined by Mr. Bumpy Road Brewery in New Hampshire and Michael Kormeroff down in Brooklyn, New York. And we are looking at, let me pull this up here so we can see our names. I forgot to do that. We are looking at the Framinghammer series from Jack's Abbey, and we all have different versions. Um, Michael has. Well, we'll wait until we go up, and then you can kind of tell everybody what we all have different versions of the Framinghammer beer series from Jack's Abbey. Jack's Abbey is out of Framingham, Massachusetts. I believe we all have 2021 versions of the Framinghammer series as well. But before we get into trying all of these wonderful beers, I'm going to let Bumpy tell us a little bit more about the Baltic Porter style.
Yes. This comes out of the book Brewing Porters and Stouts, Origins, History, and 60 Recipes. This is from Terry Foster. I'm just going to read one paragraph just because it kind of gets a little bit interesting with these. He says, my remarks at the beginning of this chapter reflect the fact that the designation of this as a separate style is questionable, and that it could be regarded as a sub-style of imperial stout rather than a porter. It is seen by the BA, the Beer Advocate, I think, or whatever it is, whatever the BA stands for, as a lager style because commercial samples are brewed with a lager yeast strain rather than with ale yeast. The virtually nationwide use of closed conical fermenters by craft factory brewers means that the old distinction between top and bottom fermenting yeast has largely disappeared. The distinction now is more that lager yeast works at a lower temperature than ale yeast, giving a slower fermentation and a smoother, cleaner flavor. The reason why these are called Baltic Porters is because they were first brewed in the Baltic.
Makes sense.
Yeah, which is a bit colder, and that's why they would use lager yeast.
Right. Okay.
Perhaps I could read a couple more pages, but we're not going to do that.
That's all right. We got some beer to drink here. Well, thank you for that insight, Bumpy. Appreciate it. So what we're going to do is we're going to let Michael go first, just because he has the base beer, which the two of our beers are based off of. So, Michael, I'm going to go ahead and let you tell us what you've got, and go ahead and just pour it up and get into it a little bit. Let me pull you up here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I have the only canned example. Both of you have bottle examples. So this is 10% and 45 IBUs, and I'll read what it says on the back. Framinghammer, a lengthy conditioning period creates a silky smooth chocolatey mouthfeel enhanced by the use of oats and brown sugar. Noticeable sweetness gets balanced by roasted malt and hop bitterness. At 10% alcohol by volume, this beer is sure to keep you warm on a cold winter night, and I'm sure it will.
All right.
So let's see what it looks like in the glass. It's a 16-ounce glass, but I'm not going to be able to get it all in on the first shot. I poured a little bit of an Alex-style head, but it's still, what would you say, 3 fingers? Three-finger.
Healthy-looking head there.
Healthy, nice head. And it's very bubbly and kind of tan color. But 1 second. Okay, so the look on it is dark brown. Let's see if I look through. You really can't see through it. So it's dark enough brown that it's bordering on black looking. And let's see what the dark roasted malt. Maybe a little bit of coffee. dark chocolate, baker's kind of dark chocolate. You can't smell the alcohol, which is a really good sign. The dark roasted malts are I think the lead smell. And as you notice, the head is really not subsiding. It's pretty much staying up there too, which I think is also a good sign. But let's get to the taste.
All right. Cheers, Michael.
Cheers. Okay. I consider this a dangerous beer. Right off the bat. The alcohol is hidden by the combination, I think, of the malt and whatever brown sugar and other sweetness is in here, because it is smooth and it is really well brewed. This is really a nice beer. Very nice. You're getting the dark roasted malt and the flavor. Mild sweetness, but it's not sweet. And I guess the 45 IBUs is what they're using to balance the sweetness, so it's not cloying. You get the coffee as well. It's kind of like brewed, very black coffee taste, not with any dairy products in it. The chocolate is nice as well. Well, we know your beers are going to be good because they did use this one before they barrel aged it. So it's
Right.
really,
So you have the base beer of all of the Framinghammer series products.
the carbonation is medium, but it's solid medium. It's not, it's not the top end of light. It's a solid medium mouthfeel. And if anybody can get this version of it, I highly recommend it. It's a winner for sure.
Now, is that your first Jack's Abbey Framinghammer beer?
No,
ever?
I had one. As a matter of fact, he gave me 2 cans, and I had one the last Thursday of the month thing when we did it together as a group, and it did very well.
Okay, but you haven't had any of the bottled
No, I haven't had any of the bottled
offerings. Okay,
sure. But my friend goes back up to Massachusetts. Maybe he can bring me back one, because those do look good too. I'll come back and give a number after you guys go.
All right, sounds good, Michael. Let's bring.
Do you like French toast, Michael?
I do.
Yeah, if your friend can find the French toast one, I've had it. It's awesome.
Okay, I'll ask.
Yeah.
All right, so bumpy.
Yeah, so the Jack's Abbey Craft Lagers. I've got the Bourbon Barrel Aged Taza Chocolate Framinghammer 2021. This is in collaboration with Taza Chocolates. And just going to read right down below here. They give you the same story up top on all these bottles, but then it talks specifically about the beer that you have in hand. This comes in at 12% ABV. I don't know if I mentioned that. So it is a bit of a higher ABV than what Michael has there for the standard. So it says this variety features cacao nibs from our good friends at Taza Chocolate in Somerville, Massachusetts. So maybe you'll have to pay a visit to Taza Chocolates there, John, as you're in Massachusetts now. Maybe you can get Kate some nice chocolates. It doesn't say any of that on the bottle. I'm just saying that in my... It's coming out of my face.
She's more of a beer girl. She'll take beer over chocolate. Anyway. Get her some good craft beer.
So they source these cacaos directly from fair trade farms in the Dominican Republic to bring a next level chocolate flavor to this beer. All right. You can learn more about it at tazachocolate.com. Let's go ahead and pour this. I can almost smell it through the bottle.
I'm sensing what it might smell like on my end here too. I love a chocolate. I mean, with the addition of chocolate in there, I hope it's bursting with chocolate flavor and it's not a tease like you get sometimes with these beers.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bubbled head there, kind of medium and small bubbles, little bit frothy on top, but maybe rocky in the center. Probably going to fade away here. Color of the brew itself, well, it's pretty damn dark. Kind of a nice blood red, amber color, very, very thin line on the bottom here when held up to light. Other than that, I mean, this thing's pretty much, I'm going to go with a very rich brown because I think a black one, a black body probably would have produced a bit of a darker head note. So I'm just going to go with a dark brown. Aromas.
Chocolate? I hope.
Well, no, my first impression was coconut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is weird because there's no coconut in this. So I don't know if that's coming from the barrel. It almost smells like an Almond Joy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. There's like this strange kind of coconut note going on in the aroma, but there is a chocolate there too. A nice milk chocolate. A little bit of fruit note in there, darker fruits. The barrel itself, like sometimes I'll get like an oaky smell or whatever. I'm not really picking up on that in the aromas. It does smell like it's barrel aged, but it doesn't smell like an oak cask or anything. There's no like real oakiness to it.
You know, sometimes
Maybe a
with
bit
bourbon,
of vanilla.
Sometimes with bourbon, you get like coconut flavors.
Yeah,
So I wonder if the coconut you're picking up on is actually coming from the barrel aging.
possibly. Yeah, because they didn't mention anything about coconut being in this, and that was like my first
Right.
perception of it. Yeah, there is a nice chocolate note. It does smell like it's barrel aged. It just doesn't have that big burst of oaky aromas, which is nice. I don't think I'm not sure if they mention it on their website what barrels they're using either. It just says bourbon barrel aged, so it's not, at least on the bottle, saying what barrels that they have used. Good in various batches. Yeah, I don't see it saying what barrels are used. So I don't know what bourbon this would be from. But yeah, a little bit fruity, chocolatey, a little bit of that kind of coconut smell. Smells barrel aged, and I would say a hint of leather, a touch of leather. So, cheers! I'm gonna take a swig.
All right.
Cheers, Jesse.
There's the oak. It's first off, it's got a very creamy mouthfeel to it. Lower side carbonation, and kind of a more liquid medium body. But it's very smooth. It's almost like drinking a thinned out melted marshmallow. That's kind of the softness on the palate. There is some alcohol burn on the palate. You kind of get a slight alcohol note on the flavor. There is that chocolate note right up front. Yeah, it's basically like oak, bourbon flavors, chocolate, leather tail end. Bitterness is moderate. Bitterness seems to be kind of in that woody, kind of earthy tone type realm. Alcohol persists kind of throughout. You kind of get that touch of alcohol flavor up front, and then you do get this kind of lingering alcoholic burn on the palate and going into the back of the throat. So it's nice that it's there. I mean, it goes well with the beer itself. It's not distracting from flavors because it's not like drinking straight up alcohol, like hard liquor where you can get that. It doesn't do that. It's just a alcohol note with all the other flavors mixes in well. That alcohol burn going down also will slow you down from drinking this one too fast, I think. So this is going to be a nice sipper. I think as I talk, I kind of notice some of that kind of dark fruit note in there as well. Don't really notice it while I'm drinking it, but as I'm talking, it's kind of starting to get some darker fruit notes kind of making a presence on my tongue. So I'm probably drinking this one around 70 degrees Fahrenheit as well. I haven't had this in the fridge, so it is warm. I'm not like drinking it cold and letting it warm up. It's just been bought it on the shelf, put it in my Christmas tree. It's like a beer advent calendar that's made of wood. It's Christmas tree. So yeah, it's definitely lovely. Digging the kind of chocolate notes that are in it too. It's it doesn't actually taste as like I'm not picking up on the coconut flavor, but I did get it in the aromas, but I'm not getting it in the flavor. It's more of that kind of mid-range chocolate, a little bit sweet, and a little bit of that more bitter chocolate, but not like baker's chocolate. Just a mild sweet and a milk chocolate kind of combined. Yeah. And the mouthfeel on it is fantastic. So,
Jesse, are you getting any barrel presents?
Just in the front. Yeah. On the front of the palate, it does taste a little bit of an oak. It does have that kind of bourbon, and you get that bourbon burn as well. You get the kind of a little bit of that bourbon alcohol flavor with the brew.
Okay.
And then, of course, on the back end, like I said, you get the actual burn going down the back of the throat. So.
Nice.
It sounds really good.
Yeah,
it's not overly barrely or bourbon-esque, but it definitely has a presence. So
I'm dying to get into mine after that description there. So
I think hopefully your mouthfeel is just like this mouthfeel because it's a fantastic.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'll pull myself up here, and the one that I've got is the Tiramisu Framinghammer, and this one is aged in rum barrels, same as Bumpy's, 12% alcohol. So on the side of the label here, yours had much more of a description than mine. After the general Framinghammer series description, at the very bottom it says, this variety is aged in rum barrels with natural flavors. That's all it says. So you're not really getting too much on the label there. All right, let's get into it. And mine is probably between 45 and 50 degrees. I keep it, these types of beers in the fridge, and then I take them out, half an hour, 45 minutes before I'm going to drink them, just so they can start to warm up a little bit and develop. And definitely a brown appearance as I pour it. You can see through it, but like Bumpy said with his, after it's in the glass and you're just looking at it, it looks more black than brown. But up to the light, you can see a little bit of brown in there. My head, wow, just died down almost instantaneously. It does have a little bit of a film up top, but not a head like Bumpy's or Michael's had. Oh, wow. Smells amazing. A lot of sweetness on the aroma, probably from the rum barrels. Tiramisu is a very sweet dessert, so I'm getting like some caramel notes. A little bit of toffee in there as well. A slight woody aroma from the barrel aging. And I think a lot of the sweet notes that I'm picking up on are from the rum barrel aging. This rum is more of a sweet spirit. So definitely picking up on all of that. A little bit of roasted malt character, but the rum barrel aging is really coming through in those dessert-like aromas that you would get with a nice tiramisu. It's all coming through on the nose. It doesn't smell like a 12% at all. It doesn't smell boozy. It just smells really dessert-like, really nice. And I am salivating here, really thirsty. It's been a long day, and I'm going to get into it. Cheers.
Cheers, John.
I've had tiramisu, but it's been a while. But as soon as I took a sip of this, it just all came flooding back. Like, it definitely has the tiramisu flavor. The rum barrel is coming through. You're getting the oak, and then you're getting that sweetness. Not quite into like a molasses sweetness, but it's almost more of like a maple syrup type sweetness with this. A little bit of the roasted malt in the middle of the sip. Some nice roasty, toasty, bready notes. This is good. The carbonation with this one is really low, and I think, like Bumpy was talking about, the body with this is really nice. It's not super thick. It's not thin by any means, but it doesn't drink super heavy. This could be a very dangerous beer. I wouldn't recommend guzzling it down, but you very easily could because of how damn smooth it is and because of how light it is for what you're getting. You're still getting a ton of flavor, but the body is light and silky and just very smooth all the way through. There's a slight warming effect going down. So you know that you're drinking a little bit higher ABV beer, but it's not boozy in the least. You're getting some of that oak flavor. There's no alcohol forward presentation with this. It's not boozy in that sense. This is dynamite. This is really, really good. And it's already, I would say it's pretty close to room temperature because I had it out for a while. I guess it wasn't as cold as I thought it was. Either that or I left it out for longer than I thought. But yeah, it's pretty much at room temperature already. And it is just a ton of flavor coming through. That rich toffee note is coming through a lot too on the palate, which I think is just kind of what you get with tiramisu anyway. I think that's just from the natural flavoring that they put in here to give it that tiramisu flavor. Yeah, I absolutely love this beer. Thank you, Bumpy, for giving it to me. Hopefully I'll be able to find some more of these beers soon because I'd love to try like the has a chocolate one, and I think they have a s'mores one.
And a French toast one Bumpy mentioned too, which sounds good.
French toast one sounds incredible as well. So yeah, looking forward to hopefully trying all of them. And of course the base version that Michael's got, would be interested in trying that as well. So really quick, I'm gonna go back to the full screen here for a second, and we're gonna add in Tanner. He is joining us. Better late.
Hey Tanner.
Better late, I suppose. Good evening, Tanner. So, yeah, which version of the Framinghammer are you going to be drinking tonight?
So, yeah, sorry for showing up late. I just saw that new Liam Neeson movie, Blacklight, I believe it's called. Pretty good. The one I have today is the Cinnamon Roll Bourbon Barrel Aged Framinghammer. So it's 45 IBUs. It says malt beverage with cinnamon and vanilla. I believe this one is 12% as well. When you look on Beer Advocate, it does say 12%. And I think this is one of the ones that is retired.
Yeah, see, it says the year right there on ours. So yours is not from 2021.
Yeah, I don't have a date.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think that's the 2020 or 2019.
Yeah, they're
2019.
Yeah, they're fairly new for this show.
Okay. Well, since we already went through our initial impressions and all that, so go ahead and pour it up and drink it. Tell us what you think, and then we got to go back around and we'll all give our ratings here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull you up.
All right.
And thanks to everybody in the chat. We got a lot of people watching and commenting. We got BH, and we got Lep. We've got Vanessa Kitty. We've got Beers with Barton, who just hopped in. Cheers to you. Bart Robinson, Ryan the Beer Star, Outdoors in Maryland, Beer Man, Commerce Ozzy. Yeah, all of you guys, thanks for stopping by, and we appreciate it. So, all right, go for it.
All right, so the aroma is actually really good. It's kind of like a pastry cinnamon, like a nice sweet cinnamon and vanilla. A little bit of caramel in the background, maybe some oak as well, but definitely cinnamon and vanilla. But it's not like sometimes cinnamon kind of has like some like a spicy aroma. This is definitely like sweet cinnamon, like a pastry. And you can get some of the bourbon notes in the background, but they're not like jumping out at you. Maybe even like a little bit of like milk chocolate. It smells really good. And 12%, there's no ethanol aroma at all. So now this is probably aged for a little bit if it's from 2020 or so. It's probably got a couple of years on it. So I'm going to dive into this and it smells really good. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Tanner.
Cheers.
Cheers.
There's the booziness. It's actually nice and warm. It's been sitting in my closet, so it's been in my closet pretty much all day. There's a little bit of booziness, yeah, a little bit of burn in the chest. Up front, you get, like I said, like a nice sweet cinnamon. The cinnamon kind of lingers throughout, and then you get a little bit of spice from the cinnamon on the finish. A little bit of oak. Caramel, brown sugar, vanilla adds to the sweetness. Some chocolatey notes, more dark chocolate on the palate. Roasted malts. This is actually really good. I like this. This is actually really good. 12%. Definitely a sipper. But I think they did a good job with this, tasting like a cinnamon roll. Of course, it's not like in your face cinnamon roll. You get a good amount of the other flavors from the bourbon, from being aged in the bourbon barrels.
Right.
But yeah, that cinnamon roll flavor is actually pretty prominent. It's very tasty. I could see myself buying another bottle of this. I don't know how much you guys paid for yours. I believe mine was like $10, which is a decent price for something that's 12% bourbon barrel aged. And yeah, they had like 5 or 6 of them on the shelf, so I could definitely see myself picking up another one of these. And this is a nice sipper beer. If you want something nice, dessert beer, something you can just hang out and sip on for about an hour, I definitely would grab another one of these. So yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry for showing up late. Like I said, I was at the movies with my girlfriend, but better late than never, I think you said, right? So
yeah, no, hey, we're just glad you could.
Tanner, thanks for coming.
Thank you. Appreciate
Girlfriend takes precedence over beer reviews, so you know. All right, so yeah, it sounds like we've all got some really awesome beers. Jack's Abbey. I haven't had anything from them that I don't like yet. This is my first of the Framinghammer series, and I'm looking forward to trying a lot more, hopefully soon. So yeah, let's go ahead and get back around and give our final thoughts and ratings on all these awesome Baltic porters. We'll go back to Michael first, since he's got the
Tanner. I have the base beer, which is the 10% Framinghammer Baltic Porter.
The original Framinghammer.
And I am going to give it a 96.
I've never even seen that. That's cool.
Extremely good, and I think the three of you may be higher than that, but I'm going to try to get my friend to get me some of the barrel aged version.
Yep.
But this certainly is something I would recommend, and if you can try this one, it's very good.
All right.
Wow. I'm happy with it.
So 96. Okay. So Bumpy, what are you thinking about the Taza chocolate bourbon barrel aged version?
I'm trying to understand what Paul Middleford is saying. What the hell is my GERD?
I don't know.
Oh my GERD.
Oh, that's like acid reflux, I think. That's like a type of acid reflux.
Oh yeah. I still have acid reflux problems. It's not bothering me now. No, I move a little bit. I'm weird. I don't know.
It's like gastro.
I rock. I don't rock like Alex rocks, but damn it. Oh my GERD. Yeah. So this one's decent. It's definitely it's a great drinker. Very pleased with it. I'm gonna give my score on this, but then I'll tell you what my score was for the French toast one afterwards, so you'll know what. When I say you should get the French toast one, okay. Yeah, good flavors out of this one. It's a nice drinker. It's a slow drinker. Comparable products to it would be like KBS, CBS, not CBS, Bourbon County Stout, stuff like that. Even the
Fresh.
What would it?
Hey, Brian.
The other stuff that we had there, the big
I don't think Brian
Imperial
has
Stout type stuff. So it's way up there. It's a great drink. I'm at a 96 with this one.
96. Okay,
Yeah,
so 2 96s.
The French toast one I gave a 99. So that's how much better the French toast. I believe that's a rum barrel aged one as well with the French toast.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, with mine, I'm very pleased with it. These things are just, we've all had so many of these barrel aged stouts, and the standard really for me is Bourbon County. And this doesn't quite live up to the Bourbon County. It's similar to some of the KBSs I've had. CBS is slightly better than this. I'd love to try the French toast version of this. It sounds amazing. It's nice. I think I would have enjoyed a little bit more barrel presence. I think some of the dessert notes and the natural flavoring to give it that tiramisu flavor kind of overrides some of the barrel notes. But it's still an excellent beer. I'm going to go with a 97 out of 100. Don't want to go too high since I haven't tried the other ones, but 97 is not world class. It's getting there. It's definitely most excellent. I would highly recommend it. And it definitely, if you're a tiramisu lover, you're going to absolutely adore this beer because that's what it tastes like. It tastes like if you took some tiramisu and accidentally dropped it into a rum barrel, and then dug it out and ate it. I mean, that's what you get. The alcohol presence, I mean, it's definitely at room temperature now. It's still not boozy at all, other than the flavors from the wood that have been imparted in the beer. There's no boozy effects really. It is warming going down, but it's not. It's very pleasant and easy drinking. You, like I said earlier, you really could just guzzle it down if you wanted to because it's so damn smooth. So yeah, 97 out of 100 for me, and looking forward to trying some more of these beers soon. So Tanner, we'll go back to you with your slightly older Framinghammer with the cinnamon roll, and get your final thoughts and ratings on that. I know
you probably can't. You
haven't had as long to sip on it, but just guzzle it down and tell us what you think.
It's really good. You know what it kind of reminds me of? I'm getting a little bit of kind of like that Oreo cookie flavor that I was getting with the Slumber and the Stuff of Legend. It's kind of like someone sprinkled some cinnamon on an Oreo cookie. it's very good. You know, I'm getting that sweetness from the vanilla. The caramel isn't the bourbon notes aren't too prominent. They're just kind of hidden in the background, kind of rounds out the flavor itself. And it actually does taste like a cinnamon roll. So like I said, it's like combination cinnamon roll, Oreo cookie, really good. Like as far as the dessert beer, it's very good. I think if I get another one of these, I'll have to leave it in my closet. Um I don't think I would be getting that much flavor if it was cold. In the burn, it's actually not too bad. Once you sip on it a few times, the initial sip, you know, you're gonna taste that 12%. But once you get through the beer, and you sip on it a little bit more, you start to not notice it, and you start to pick up more of the sweetness. The sweetness does a great job like rounding out the alcohol. I'm gonna give this one like a 98. I think this is really good. I could see myself grabbing this again, and I'm a little upset because I saw the French toast one and I went to go get it and it was gone. And hopefully that's one of the ones that they'll come back out with, because I know this one they said was retired. I'm not sure why. It's really good. I enjoy it. But yeah, there's still 5 bottles. I think there was like 5 bottles on the shelf, so I could see myself grabbing another one. So yeah, 98 out of 100. Definitely worth it. Excited to try other ones. Like the other ones that you guys have and the French toast, those all sound really good too. So cheers.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. Cheers, Tanner. So yeah, 2 96s, a 97, and a 98. That's a pretty high average right there for some really amazing Baltic porters. So yeah, one note I didn't mention, you know, it actually says on the front part of the label that it says malt beverage aged in rum barrels with coffee and tiramisu flavor. So I didn't mention the coffee, and it's because I'm not getting any coffee. I'm not getting any coffee at all. So that's an interesting.
John, you like that? You like not getting coffee?
I do, but I don't. You know, I'm surprised. Usually, coffee and beer is like it's a dead giveaway. You pick up. That's the first thing you usually pick up on. So I don't know. I mean, it's a 2021. It's not that old, so they must have just used a very, very minuscule amount of coffee, just to maybe give it a little bit of a bittering effect to cut through some of the sweetness, maybe. But I'm not getting any coffee at all, and it is on the sweeter side. So that's just interesting. I saw that and I was kind of like, wow, I can't believe I didn't pick up on any coffee notes. So. Maybe my palate's just going to shit. I don't know.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine with me too. But
yeah, I'm not expanded like a lot of coffee in the stouts and porters. I like a little bit. A little bit's not too bad.
No, a little bit's fine. I don't mind. It's just, you know, some of these porters and stouts tend to go over the top with the coffee. You know, when they add coffee to beers, especially, you already on a lot of these beers, you get a little bit of a coffee note just from the roasted malt character. So when you add coffee on top of that, especially when you add a lot of coffee,
and it adds an astringency.
It just becomes
flavors.
It doesn't become unbearable, but if you don't like coffee, you're not going to enjoy it. I mean, you might as well just drink a coffee, because it literally, the beer just tastes like coffee at that point. So what's the point?
John, thanks for hosting.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed it. We've got another Jack's Abbey examination coming up soon. We can discuss dates and times, but we're just going to do the Jack's Abbey House Lager, just their standard beer. So anybody that wants to join that is more than welcome. As soon as I know the date and specific time, I'll let everybody know. So if anybody has any quick shout outs you want to do, fine, we'll do that now, but we'll go ahead and wrap this up and end it. No need to drag it out. So anybody?
No, you already heard enough from me tonight.
I'm cool.
All right. Tanner.
Take care, Tanner.
Shout outs for me. Thursday, I'll be doing brewery reviews. We're going to be doing New Belgium. So grab a New Belgium beer. It doesn't have to be new. Be a beer that you've already had. So we'll rate the beer. Each of us will rate our beers. We'll rate the brewery. And then however many people, we average it out, and that'll be the rating for the brewery. Pretty simple. Saturday, I do rate that beer. bring a beer that you want to talk about, rate. It doesn't have to be new. It could be something that you've had before. It's a little bit more laid back. Talk about different styles that we've had. Ask each other questions. So that looks good. Oh, there you go,
Nice.
Bumpy. I have their Juice Force hazy, I think hazy double or something. I've never seen that one that he had before. That looks good. So yeah. Besides that, check out. I got reviews. I'm off tomorrow, so I'm going to be filming some more reviews. Shout out Miscellaneous. Thursday, 8 p.m. I think he might do like a head-to-head beer session, I believe he was saying. So check that out. And are you guys going to shout out other people? I don't want to go on a ram.
Well, they just got done with beer and cheese. They did all the shout outs on that too. So we don't need to get too crazy with the shout outs.
Yeah,
I don't have any shout outs other than you guys.
Other than that, yeah. Thomas 75, Beer Man, FLX Beer Reviews, and Bang Beer Podcast. Go check those guys out. They do live streams, and Bang Beer Podcast obviously does podcasts. So go check those guys out. They're all cool. So thanks for having me, John. Appreciate it, man. Thanks. Like I said, sorry for showing up late, but I really wanted to drink this with you guys. I was like, I was gonna bring it to New Brew, and I bought the Old Rasputin last night because I wanted to bring this to the show. So I would have felt bad if I didn't bring this tonight. So definitely appreciate you.
Well, yeah, glad you can make it. All right, we got Thrash Life, Brian Fisher, Thrash Life in the chat, and he gets a shout out too. Sorry, we forgot about you. He does a lot of rescue work with horses and all kinds of animals, really. And occasionally he'll still post up a beer review, and he's a home brewer as well, so he'll do some brew days and all of that. Great guy, great channel. Go check him out. All right, that's it. Stout Sunday, 10:30 Eastern. I'll be hosting again this weekend, so everybody bring a porter or stout and join up. We're going to be reviewing some great beers, hopefully. And thank you to Michael Kormoroff, Bumpy Road Brewery, and Tanner, East Coast LQ Reviews, for joining me on this Jack's Abbey Framinghammer examination. We'll see you here all on Sunday morning, and hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Until next time, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Enjoy.
Cheerios.